Hello, everyone. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are watching today. I'm delighted to have you watching this video. I'm pretty much excited with this new initiative that I am launching today, and I thank and welcome you for being part of it, making it happen. My name is Emmanuel Ngwakonri. I'm trained in community health sciences, and I hold a master's degree in public health and a PhD in health services research. I believe that it is time for us uh, to share our expertise with our communities to improve overall well-being and to make sure that people receive information on timely manner that can help them, help their families and their friends. And therefore I've decided to start this initiative, Empower Africa Now. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about why this initiative and why now. Okay? So before I go into discussing Empower Africa now, I want to hope and talk about your safety, just as a reminder at this time of coronavirus. I hope you are staying safe wherever you are, and that you are following the recommendations that your public health experts and communities have recommended for you to follow. And to those who have contracted the coronavirus or who have lost family and friends, my prayers are with you. I know you've been bombarded with a lot of information around how to stay safe, social distancing, mask, and so on and so forth. So I won't go into that right now. I rather want to focus on why I think that we need to empower our African community right now. Not next year, okay, right now. So I think you all must have been following a lot of what is happening. We live in the era of information technology. Just with a click of a finger, you have a message to your phone or your email on what is going on. You must have learned about the different controversies around coronavirus, the vaccination, how this is being made, some in other areas to be an African thing. We must stand up and dispel this kind of negative image that is being put on Africans and fight it and help our communities by providing them with appropriate information to stand up, okay? So one of the examples that I want to shed light on here is a couple of weeks ago, I know you are all aware of the discussion, the declaration of the French scientist, Professor Camille Loach, who apparently answering a question as a member of a panel on one of the TV stations TV stations out there in France seem to endorse the fact that trials that they are proposing could be carried out in Africa because Africans don't wear masks, they don't have masks, they don't have treatment for the virus, and there is lack of awareness campaigns to sensitize the population. He was actually answering this question from the moderator of the panel. And they even went forth, the moderator went forth to boast about the fact that this can happen because building on the what was done several years ago with the HIV trials, they were able to recruit prostitutes, to conduct their trials because they were not aware of the virus and they were not protecting themselves in case of sexual intercourse. So you see how demeaning this is, and how we are continuously being used or could be used as test agents. You see how we are perceived. This brings to light the fact that we need to do something. Talking about the HIV trials, by the way, these are trials that took place in Cameroon, in Ghana, and in Cambodia. And when scientists make such assertions, you start to think about how they got access to the populations to be able to conduct their trials. Well, I think they probably went through the right protocols to do their trials. That is going to be a subject for another day. But when these kind of things come up, I think we need to empower our populations to understand what is at stake here, and should they be faced with such situations. So one of my interests, one of the areas that I'm interested in my work is human research ethics. So people like us who are affiliated to institutional review boards are charged with reviewing, when assigned protocols or studies, are charged with reviewing them and making recommendations to the board for approvals or no approval. Often, these studies that are carried out in Africa, for example, we don't know the different processes that they may take to recruit participants, the process of informed consent, that I mean, letting the participants know freely that they can't participate in the study, or even if they do, that they can withdraw themselves without prejudice if they choose not to go ahead. So these kind of questions they need to be asked. We need to scrutinize studies that we hear or trials that are being carried out there to make sure that they follow the right protocols. And therefore it requires that we must break down information in simple terms and sensitize and educate our different communities. Okay, so this is some of what we'll be doing here in the long run. So let this topic about clinical trials for another date. But I want to touch on some of the controversies that are as demeaning as well. You might have seen on social media videos where Africans are being banned from getting into shops because of the coronavirus. Some are being chased out of their rental accommodations because of the coronavirus. So the question is, when did this become an African issue? When did this become an African issue? That's a question to be answered. Should we just be scapegoats for anything that happens and where we happen to find ourselves? It's high time we sit up. It's high time we sit up and stand up for Africa. We cannot continue to take this. Okay? And information flow, the right information and education is needed to stand up for ourselves. We've even seen videos where an art gallery where Africans are being compared with animals. You've seen videos of fake products circulating in some countries in Africa. For example, fake thermometers, fake stainless steel flasks that are supposed to preserve hot water. So is Africa simply a dumping ground? Is it? Can we just let our continent to be a dumping ground because people may have limited purchasing power? We cannot. We deserve the best. We deserve quality stuff. And so we need to continuously educate our populations about the choices and decisions that they make. Okay? Who speaks for Africa, by the way? When this thing about the atrocities, the demeaning actions in China happened, I know that we had a minister in Ghana come out and condemn the act and protest, calling the Chinese ambassador for questioning what other actions have been taken all over in Africa. Other actions of protest, not necessarily on the streets. Our leaders need to stand up. They need to call these guys to order, okay? And so, when these kind of things happen, we need to ask a bigger question. What are some of the conclusions and actions that we can take? Should we just sit back and say, and forward the videos to our friends and family and say, look at what they are doing to us? And just pray that God help us? Well, I think prayer is not enough because God has already revealed this evil to us. So we need to do something at individual level, at the level of policy. We look at our leaders for policy, okay? We cannot simply sit down and look to be demeaned and being looked at as test agents, les cobayes, as it is said in French, where people will test our products on us. I mean, if it works, then they deploy it to the real humans. You cannot let that happen. So that is why I'm launching this channel. I look at this as a platform for advocacy, whereby we will be talking about the things that matter, bringing forth information to strengthen our communities, individuals, be it in the area of well-being, public health knowledge, keeping safe, entrepreneurship, okay, career planning, and so on and so forth. Anything that can empower Africans to improve their overall situations and well-being, we'll discuss it in this channel. I want to mention the trials that are going on right now. There's lots of talk about hydroxychloroquine trials. Well, we've been taking chloroquine for malaria for decades, okay? And while these trials are going on, I know that our scientists are also doing some work. I know, well, there is a research that took place in France. There are some trials that are going on in Canada, in the United States, and in some other countries. While this is being talked about in the main channels like CNN and so on and so forth, I know that our African scientists are also taking some initiatives. For example, there is a trial between Burkina Faso and Benin at 2 sites out there. So I encourage our scientists as well to put forth their findings, to showcase their work. We cannot sit back. Showcase your work. If you have an opportunity to publish the protocols for your trials, I look forward to us sharing the results, to also see how the work that is going out there, how it contributed to understanding the coronavirus and treating our populations. Or even they were not effective, we know what went on and how they can be repeated. Okay? So it is very important to showcase our work. We must understand that one of the things that is propagating all of these demeaning attitudes of some in the rest of the world, it's because we usually just sit back and follow. And we sit back and follow, and we don't speak out. And these things happen over and over, so we must stand up. Okay? So that is what we'll be doing in this channel. We will be regular on air, and we will be straight to the point. I call upon you to support me in this initiative by sharing the content that we produce and by subscribing to this channel, so that each time I have a new video up, you are able to see it and you can share. Once more, stay safe and be hopeful. Not much anxiety should be accumulated because of these issues. I think we are strong enough, and we will be able to stand up to Africa. Thank you. Merci. Miraculously.